we go. There we are. We're in the we're on the Orville Bridge. And where's the Orville? There it is. Make sure I've got the right one up. There we are, yeah. Right. So, the Orville. This is episode 4, and it's called Gently Falling Rain. It just came to me, the name of the title. Which, it turns out, is Krill. Not Krill, but it's somebody in this episode, their name, I think it's Anaya. And in Krill, that means gently falling rain, which is quite pretty, I suppose. Anyway, right, so we start off. This is, by the way, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a lot better than last week's. I wasn't a big fan of last week's episode, to be honest. It was okay, but a lot of people loved it and said it was best thing ever. But I wasn't really a fan. But it was okay. But this one was a lot better. Right, we're on Krill, the Krill home world, and this is a Krill political person. I've forgotten the name. You know what we'll do? We'll get this up. And I shall type in Orville gently. I forgot to type. There we go. Gently falling rain. And I'll get the cast list. That's what I'll do. And then I can tell you the names of the characters. Should do all this beforehand, shouldn't I? Right. There we go. Telea. She's called Telea, played by Michaela McManus. By the way, this episode was in memory of Lisa Baines, who was an actress, and she appeared in this episode as Spiria Balask, who I believe was a union representative that we saw in this episode. But anyway, she's called Telea, is that we can see on screen there. Where are we? There we go. And she's like an opposition politician to the current Supreme Chancellor of Krill, who is on Earth, about to do some talks. They're going to ratify the treaty between the Union and the Krill Empire, or whatever it's called. But she's against that. She thinks this treaty is going to weaken Krill, and they shouldn't sign treaties with anybody because they're all super religious, aren't they? But anyway, quite a lot of masks in this episode. Good makeup effects, with large crowds of people. So I bet that took some doing. It cost a bit of money. Anyway, she's got this political following. There's an election coming up, and obviously she's got she's a populist. She's a bit like Trump. This is saying she's a bit like Trump. That's what the impression I got. Oh, this episode also kind of goes into it skirts around the issue of abortion. So, but there you go. Anyway, I think we're into the credits, are we? I don't know. Yeah, we are. Right, we're in credits now. Right, we're on Earth. That's the Krill Supreme Chancellor, who was played by... I'm trying to find out. It doesn't show who played him. Not on IMDb, anyway. We see John Fleck. Is it Bruce Boxleitner? Let's have a look. It could be, actually. It could be. That could be Bruce Boxleitner, but I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't say on IMDb. Does it say in... there we go. In the Orville Wiki. Let's have a look at this one. Guest cast. No, it doesn't say that either. They're keeping it secret, aren't they? They are. Does it say further down? No. Right, never mind. Gone too far. Gone too far. With me clicking, me mad clicking. Right, where were we? Anyway, they're at a musical and it's Annie. See if I can. They've got a little alien girl playing, little orphan Annie, and she looks human. Oh, for God's sake, if I can get it right. There we go. But she's got little alien ears. Anyway, they're all singing, and there's a fella there that looks like I forgot his name. A crewman on the Orville, but it's not him. So they're singing Tomorrow. And the Krill don't really know what to make of it. All the others are laughing and cheering. There we go. And the Krill don't know, what to make of it. So they clap awkwardly. They see the others clapping. That quite amusing. I think that's John Fleck, who's been in Star Trek a bit. Anyway, they're at a dinner now. They're having dinner. And the Chancellor, there's Kelly, who was Admiral somebody or other. Anyway, the Chancellor seems keen on signing this treaty. I don't know why, to be honest, but all the other Krill that we've seen, seem a bit reluctant. They seem, this treaty is a necessary evil because of the Kalon threat. But this Supreme Chancellor, it's a bit like Gorkon. He seems to think this is something they can build on. Anyway. Meanwhile, on the Orville, they're in a saloon on the simulator. It's the holodeck, innit? And Bortas has a drink of beer and gets himself a moustache. And Gordon, is it Gordon? Yeah. Says, that reminds me of when you had a moustache, because remember last season he grew a moustache, didn't he? So that's that. By the way, Tala Kiali, she's now Lieutenant Commander Tala Kiali. And I did actually notice in the credits it says Lieutenant Commander Tala Kiali. And I thought, ooh, has she got a promotion? And then I was thinking, or has she always been Lieutenant Commander? But no, she hasn't. So she's getting congratulated here by John Lamar, the engineer. See, I remembered his name. So I think something's going to happen between these two, because they seem to be angling for a bit of romance. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, Ed and Kelly arrive. Oh no, they're there already. Oh no. Isaac arrives. Oh, I've missed it. And says, if I can find the bloody thing. Show us it then. No, because I'm useless at finding the bloody things I want to find. Here we go. There he is. Isaac arrives. And he says, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. But he says it in Isaac way. I can't remember what, I calculate this town is not spacious enough, whatever. And it's funny. He's got a moustache glued onto him. And Charlie Burke, remember Ensign Charlie Burke, she doesn't seem impressed. Remember, she doesn't like him. Anyway, Admiral Halsey calls them away, and so they go to Ed's office. They're still in the Western gear. And he's telling them that they've to go back to Earth and pick up, well, not pick up, but escort the Supreme Chancellor back to the Krill homeworld. It's got a name, but I can't remember what it is. Because they're going to sign the treaty there on the Krill homeworld. And, the Orville's got the job, the honour of doing that. Because, he's got a soft spot for the Orville and Ed, in particular as Admiral Halsey. Remember the Orville at the beginning of the series? It was like, supposed to be this rubbish ship, that had not done a lot, and they give it to Ed, who was a bit of a washed-up captain. But it's turned out to be the most important ship in the Union fleet. But anyway, so there we go. So Ed, so they say, oh, thanks, that's an honour, Admiral. And then they say, he didn't even realise we were drunk. But he did. It's their honour. They're taking the President of the Union and his staff. They're taking them to the Krill homeworld for the treaty signing. There he is. Or is that Bruce Boxlight? I don't bloody know. Too much makeup on him and not enough information on IMDb. Anyway, so we find out about this opponent for the Supreme Chancellor, and she's Telea, who Ed had a I don't know if it was in the first season or the second season, I can't remember, but Ed had an affair with her because she went onto the Orville as disguised as a human. I think she was a human, but she was in disguise. She didn't look like a krill, and she used her wily ways, and she seduced Ed basically. And but then they found out about her, but Ed let her go because he thought he'd got through to her, and she wasn't. He thought she wasn't all evil, but it turns out, she is. There he's watching videos about what happens on Krill, and anyway, they're on this bit here. It has no relevance, but he's watching like newscasts from Krill. And Kelly comes in. He says, "I'm watching this, and people are getting killed under and all this. People that are protesting, are getting killed and all that." But he said, "But it's not true. It's all fictitious." And he says, "They do that for no reason. I don't know the point of it." And I thought, is that going to mean that later in the episode we're going to see something that is apparently real but isn't? But no, we don't see that. So I don't know why they did that. It's probably a bit like Wag the Dog. If you've seen that film, Wag the Dog, where it can make a news story, can make or break a leader, or start a war, or end a war, or whatever. The power of the press, the power of the news media. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And they just make things up sometimes. That's what this is about. But it has no bearing on the rest of the episode. Maybe it did in early drafts, but not in this one. So anyway, there they go. They arrive at Krill, or whatever it's called, and 3 Krill cruisers escort them in, and it's all jolly exciting. So they're going to take a shuttle down. Remember, they've no transporters or teleporters or whatever they call them in the Orville. I'm still betting that they have them soon, but not yet. So they take a shuttle down. Charlie's driving, and for some reason, everybody's standing up and behind, the pilot and the co-pilot. The Admiral's acting as the co-pilot, I do believe. But they're all standing behind, and then they're saying that the atmosphere is turbulent. So you'd think they'd go and sit down, wouldn't you? They think they'd put the seatbelts on and sit down. But no, they stand there, they're wobbling about all over the place. And they do it again later on as well. And you think, for God's sake, sit down. It's safer. Anyway, so they arrive at the Krill capital. I think it's raining outside. That's probably why the cat wants to come in. She'll be cursing me. So they arrive, and they're greeted by the Supreme Chancellor. And anyway, they're watching the the Krill news, but it's not a lie. The election's going on, and he thinks he's going to win. This is the Krill. You can't see that, can you? Move that down a bit. There we go. He thinks he's going to win, but it turns out he don't win. And Telea, she wins. And immediately, almost immediately, guards arrive to take away the former Supreme Chancellor and charging him with treason. And they arrest the delegation from Earth. Because remember, Telea doesn't want Earth, don't want the treaty. So Kelly's in charge of the Orville, and they end up having a battle in space with the Krill. There we go, look. They're sat down, look. And Gordon does some cool flying and makes up some evasive manoeuvres, and it's all super good. But then they go to Quantum. That looks good, doesn't it? That's a desktop for you. So they go to Quantum. There we go. They get out of the way. Obviously, they haven't abandoned their people. They come back. All right, she says, she goes to John Lamar. She said, execute Order 21 or Directive 21. Directive 21, isn't it? We don't know what that is, but we find out later. Anyway, this is Talea, and she's got the former Supreme Chancellor, and she stabs him. So he's dead, and they chop his head off and put it in the square. Because she's evil. She dresses like Reaver, doesn't she, in Obi-Wan? Anyway, so she's a baddie. Anyway, so they take Ed and to see Talea, and he tries to get through to her. And she kind of does have a little bit of a soft spot for him. But, not that much, I wouldn't, but she does a bit. And she says she's going to kill the people from Earth, the delegation. She's going to kill them. But obviously she doesn't. She sends Ed away. We think to his doom. Obviously he's not. Anyway, the people that take him away, that they actually take him, and all this is going on. I think that's I don't know if they're watching a news thing there, or if that's getting in touch with them, but no, I think they're watching like Krill News, and she's saying, she's in charge, and the people from Earth are going to die, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right, these people are taking Ed. They've put him a hood on him for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, they take him somewhere in the city. It's a long walk, isn't it? They take him to meet this woman here. Excuse me. To see this little girl, and it turns out she's Ed's daughter. Ed and Talea had a daughter. There she is. She's called Anaya. That means gently falling rain. And the keeper there, she's well looked after. She seems quite happy, even though she just sits in a room playing with this thing all day. But she seems okay. And so there we go. So obviously Ed doesn't tell her, I'm your dad, but they have a nice little chat. So they want Ed to go back to Talea and convince her to acknowledge that she's got a hybrid daughter. Because they don't agree with Talea's politics. So Ed agrees to do that. Meanwhile, on the Orville, they're meeting up with the Union fleet. We're going to see that. I better miss it. Oh, for God's sake. See if I can... there we go. There we go. Union fleet's arrived. They've got lots of ships, and they all go to Quantum. Look. There we go. They're heading for Krill. Right, Ed's talking to her again. He says he's met Anaya. Obviously, she didn't know that he'd been taken to see Anaya. And Ed asks, why did, if you hate humans so much, why did you have Anaya? Why didn't you have an abortion, basically? He don't say that, but why didn't you have an abortion? And, she like poo-poos the ideas. And, I don't murder. Although she just murdered the Chancellor, but she don't murder babies, even her own. So basically, the Krill are, pro-life. So anyway, so he don't get through to her, and I think they're going to be. She's showing here what happens to people who have abortions. Abortion is illegal, but there must be ways to do it, and they are shown holograms of what their child would have been like. And I thought they were going to kill them, but no, they don't do that. But they just show them a hologram of what their kid would be like, so they've got to live with the grief of the life that they ended. Anyway, she gets all this delegation out in front of the people. She says they're gonna kill him. So she gets a knife out again and she stabs the president of the union in the stomach. I don't know if she does it here or she's doing it in a minute. Whatever. But she does, she stabs him in the stomach. The Union fleet arrives and a big battle happens in orbit. I think that's him telling her that the fleets are, the Union fleets arrived, and she says, destroy them. So a big battle erupts in orbit, and she stabs the president of the planetary union. Anyway, 2 Krill come through the door, and they throw a flashbang, and but it doesn't affect the humans; it just affects the Krill. So it must have been specifically made to blind Krill. And they get the delegation out to a waiting shuttle. There we go. Which is soon getting chased, by Krill fighters or whatever. And it turns out the 2 Krill were Dr. Claire Finn and John Lemire. That was Directive 21, apparently. Disguise yourself as the enemy and go and rescue whoever you're supposed to rescue. Anyway, so a chase ensues. It's a bit like we saw in Attack of the Clones, that chase through Coruscant. A little bit like that, but different. So they get away, they get to a shuttle, and, a Union shuttle, and they arrive at the battle's still going on, and they arrive at the Orville, and they basically do a, emergency landing plan B. Do that. Crash land in the landing bay, and the fleet breaks off, from the battle and heads into quantum drive. Here we go, we're going to see it now. There we go. They all head off, and all the others turn round, and not once do they talk about the ships or how many people that they lost. They did this last week in the episode. Last week's episode, so many of the crew got turned into aliens. We didn't find out how many, but they didn't even seem to mourn them. In this one, nothing's mentioned about how many ships, Union ships and Union lives were lost in this rescue. It doesn't matter. So basically, that's it. The Admiral, asks Ed, if he can do anything, with Teleia, with them having history and having a child. But he's unsure. He doesn't know. He says he'll think about what he can do. But there's not a lot he can do, really, is there? But that's that. And him and Kelly go off for breakfast, and then we end on Krill in a minute with Teleia, and I think she's looking at her daughter. There we go. She's watching her daughter playing. And we're thinking, is she going to soften? Don't know. We shall see. But that's it. That's the end. That's how it ends. There we go. So it was a good episode. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a lot better than Obi-Wan anyway. And it was a lot better than last week's episode, in my opinion. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. And to give it a score out of 10, I'd give that one an 8 out of 10. That was really good. It was a good episode. Not perfect, but I did enjoy it. And I still think it's not quite as good as Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Heresy, I know, but I'm enjoying it. Strange New Worlds. But I enjoyed this episode of The Orville. It was better than last week's. It had some, a good Star Trek type episode, but it also had some good action and a good space battle, and and it was interesting. A bit on the nose with the politics, abortion and Trump and all, Trump rallies and all that, and stuff. I'm not a Trump fan myself, but I'm not a fan of any politician, to be honest. But what can you do? But hang on, I'm just typing through. I can't talk and type at the same time. I'm getting ready for the next review, sorry. I'm hopeless, I am. I'm hopeless. Right, we're there. Right, sorry. I can't multitask. So, a good episode of the Orville. Better than last week's. Hopefully it's going to start getting better now. I don't know how many episodes there's in this season. Is there just 10 again? Not 10 again. I mean 10. I don't know. But hopefully they'll start getting a little bit better. But yeah, this were a good one. Thumbs up from me. I enjoyed that.